Hello everybody to Roland vlog day question mark question mark question mark. I don't know what day this would be had I kept up my vlogging. But today I'm bringing you a Sunday vlog. Reason being, the past couple of days I've had a crazy time in ranked MMR. I am 14 consecutive wins in a row on Spectre. Um, and I've climbed about 250 points over those 14 games. Um, I would. So I played my 15th game last night, but somebody random Spectre on my team, which sucked. And then they wouldn't trade me, and they went on to like not do super well, and so I did Arc Warden Jungle, and it sucked. But I want to talk about Spectre in the 2K, mid to low 2Ks. All right, and what I'm experiencing with Spectre, and why it's working. I think how I'm able to pretty much like guarantee a win is how it feels with Spectre. And yeah, I know pride come before the fall. Um, but I'm going to talk about this before, and maybe by the time anybody sees this, I will have played another game of Spectre, and I will only have gone 14 games in a row on Spectre. Now, I am on a 14 prediction streak. These are I have 13 consecutive Spectre games, and then there was one game before that I predicted on that was a win. So technically, my streak is 14 on Spectre. And what I've been realizing is the malleability of the hero, and why Spectre may not work in 2K, or why I've seen Spectre fail so many times in 2K, and why I think it's not failing for me. First and foremost, Radiance. This item is like the bane of this hero, in my opinion. Every time I go onto YouTube, with the exception of Badman, if I watch Miracle play Spectre, if I watch Arteezy play Spectre, if I watch pretty much any good Spectre play, they get a Radiance. Now, there's a reason these good players get a Radiance, and that's because they have good supports that are roaming, that make them space, and they can farm really, really well. They don't miss last hits. Very rarely do they miss last hits. Matter of fact, I'm sure their average for each creep wave is like 3.75 of 4. Like, I'm sure they're hitting pretty much every creep. And they're going into the jungle, and they're doing smart things. I've also seen Mask of Madness built on Spectre, because you do some crazy Spectral Dagger thing into the trees, and you attack one creep at a time, and basically you choke farm like a triple stack, and you can get Radiance somewhere around 17 minutes with Treads or Phase, uh, with maybe an Urn. Now, this train of thought into mid to low 2Ks uh, doesn't work, in my opinion, because what happens is you get way too focused on getting that Radiance. And so oftentimes you buy your Aquila, you buy your boots, maybe you buy a poor man's shield or something like that. And you say, okay, I'm going to make that Oregon Trail of a journey to 3,800 gold to buy my sacred relic. And you get up to 1,500 gold, and you ping to your team and let them know, oh, I'm only 4,000 gold away from Radiance. And they're like, good job. Then maybe you get 2,000 gold, and you ping, and no, I'm only 3,500 gold away from Radiance. Well, the issue that I find in this is that I know pretty much going into every game playing Spectre that I'm going to die about 5 times in lane. And this is something that I'm okay with. I realize that it's going to happen. I'm going to get focused. I'm going to make mistakes because, after all, I am a mid to low 2K player. And I'm going to get caught out and die. Now, every time you die, and this is just a rough calculation I'm doing in my head as we speak, I'm going to say it's going to add a minute and a half to 2.5 minutes to your Radiance with every single death. So initially, maybe Arteezy can get a 16 to 20 minute Radiance with his farm, and maybe he's even in a contested lane, and it's tough. But he knows that he can Spectral Dagger his way out into the trees and get out and make sure that he holds on to all of his unreliable gold. Now, that is what it is becoming. The longer you stay alive, the more unreliable gold you have. Thusly, the more times you die, the more gold you lose. Thusly, the longer that Radiance is postponed. Now, my train of thought on Spectre is completely that of I pretty much abstain from Radiance. Now, that isn't to say that if I'm 2-0 or 3-0, and I have 60 to 70 last hits by 10 minutes because I've been really efficient, and I've gone this like 4-4-0 build, you know what I mean, where you grab your dagger and you grab Desolate. Yeah, I won't pass up a Radiance if I know that I'm going to get it at a good time. I will not pass it up. But most of the time, I'm realizing in lane that I start with 8 tangos and a stout, which is definitely bad man influenced. Because I want to be in lane for as long as possible. Even if I'm just getting experience, I don't care. Because I know at the level 6 mark, I can haunt to mid lane, I can gank for 3 seconds, and then I can come right back to safe lane, which is something that people don't realize is at least in the mid to low 2Ks, is that you can haunt onto a target and then haunt back to another target. So you can basically be extremely mobile without being mobile at all. Now, what do you need in order to make this work? In my opinion, a Vanguard. This is oftentimes my first item. Uh, I buy my 2 tango, I buy my stout, and then I go into lane. By the time the creeps hit each other, I I buy my quelling blade at the side shop. I quell, 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 quell. I buy my ring of health. I quell, 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 quell. If things are going bad, I buy boots. If things are going good, I finish Vanguard. Now, my timing over the last 14 games on average is somewhere around 6 minutes for my Vanguard, and that's a naked Vanguard. But the thing is, I go Dispersion Spectre. Now, I look at this kind of like Heartstopper, is a similar way I look at Dispersion. It is constant harass to the off lanes, while I am constantly regenning a ton. So why not be doing constant chip damage to my enemies while I'm regenning, and I'm blocking most of their damage anyway from a Vanguard. 100% chance to block X amount of damage. I don't know exactly. I think it's like 30 from melee. And I'm taking no damage from creeps when I have Vanguard. Now, then I have to make another decision. Is the Vanguard not enough? If the Vanguard is not enough, I buy treads. Every single time I buy treads, and it gives you an extra dagger or two, which is nice. And tread switching with Spectre is not nearly as hard as tread switching with Anti-Mage, I'd say, because it's not constant, right? Like, I switch to Int, I throw my Spectral Dagger, I go back to Agi. Oh, I'm getting attacked. Press it one more time. I'm on Strength. It's really easy to tread switch with Spectre, is what I found, because it's not so fast-paced. Of course, in the higher MMR brackets and whatnot, sure, it's faster paced, and I'm sure your tread switching is much more tenuous, but not in the mid to low 2Ks. So that's something that I do. If the Vanguard is enough, and I'm finding that I'm able to last hit freely, even though they're harassing me, it's phase boots. I'll get some more damage. It's phase boots. And then pretty much without question, unless somebody like a Spirit Breaker on my team or something along those lines happens to get it, I buy Urn every single time. And what Urn allows me to do is be extremely, extremely aggressive and also extremely defensive. And I have even more daggers because, after all, a Sage's Mask builds into an Urn. So my mana regeneration is increased, and I absolutely value that item 100% on Spectre. I think it's, god damn it, I think it's core. There are very few games that I don't build an Urn on Spectre. And those games that I don't build an Urn on Spectre, it's because somebody else on the team has an Urn, and every time I click on them, they have like 11 Urn charges. Another thing about Urn, I keep that thing as close to 0 charges as possible at all times. And if I'm about to kill somebody and I have 1 charge, I throw that Urn onto anything. I'll throw it onto a fucking creep. I don't care. I'll do is I'll throw it onto an ally to try and heal them. I'll throw it onto myself to get any amount of healing from it. I'll throw it onto the enemy to kill them faster. Because I know when they die, I'm going to get 2 charges. So you should be definitely thinking about how you can optimize your Urn. Now after this is when it gets really fun. I have my phase, I have my vanguard, or I have my treads, I have my vanguard, and I have an urn. Now in most cases you just go you just go Yasha. The move speed super nice, or drums. The stats and move speed super nice, and drums are a great thing. Badman looks at it as though it's like, hey, drums are 6 kills, right? I have 6 charges, I get 6 kills. I spend another 800 gold on the recipe, and I have 6 more kills. Now, drums are something that I feel like as I play more Spectre, I realize how necessary they are. Because if we are stomping in the early game, it's great to pop my urn on, say, an invoke, or not my urn, my drums. It's nice to pop my drums, and if there's an invoker attacking a tower, that invoker is going to rip that tower down that much faster with the increased attack speed. Or say I haunt and the dude is just barely getting away, and I want to stay in range of dispersion. Dispersion has a minimum range of 300, a maximum range of 1,000. I get a lot of kills from chasing people without even hitting them while their teammates hit me, basically, which is why I love the Vanguard, because it gives me the tank to disperse my dispersion. Um, so at this point, I really tailor my Spectre to the game that I'm playing. Now, I don't have some end-all be-all build that's every single game I go this, then this, then this, then this, then this. At this point, I don't know. I don't really know. If I need damage, I'm going to go Daedalus. I really love that item. I like to pair Daedalus with a Moon Shard, because a Moon Shard is a pretty easy item to farm, and the attack speed it grants you is pretty incredible, and that means that my haunts are kills. Or in most cases, when I see Omni Knight a lot. Love to play against Omni Knight. I favor a really quick Diffusal Blade. Now that's 15 agility, and then the step up 25 agility. That's armor, that's attack speed, that's damage. Spectre is an agi hero after all. So basically, what is working in the mid to low 2Ks with Spectre is malleability. I'm realizing that being rigid in how you play a hero is the absolute wrong way to play that hero. I'm finding it super, super fun to just be like, you know what, right now I want an MKB because this Wind Ranger keeps getting away every time I haunt. Done. I'll do it. And in most of my Spectre games, there is no real ideal way that I play it. If I'm losing, I definitely go for the Manta style. I need the Manta to get away from situations. I need the Manta to get solo kills. Oftentimes, it really works out. Anyway, I love the hero. I think the hero's great. Say what you will, I think the hero is overpowered with dispersion alone. It's probably one of the more annoying things to go up against that people don't realize, is what I'm noticing, is that so many people will just Broodmother, for instance. I went up against the Broodmother, and of course I'm going to max dispersion against the Broodmother. And the Broodmother just kept sending all of her spiders on me, which, by the way, my Vanguard blocked every bit of damage those spiders did. And they would just die in droves. And I would get hundreds of gold from her whole brood, and she wouldn't understand, and she'd do it over and over and over. And that game was won within like 18 to 20 minutes. Now, the games that I'm finding that are harder as Spectre are the ones that I'm going offlane against Tidehunter. I feel like Tidehunter actually is super effective against Spectre, and if you're getting wrecked by Spectres and you don't know what to do, I would say pick Tidehunter. He's pretty easy to play, and this is, of course, mid to low 2Ks, mid to low 2Ks. I'm not talking about you 4K motherfuckers out there, okay? You guys already have got it figured out. You've already made it to 4K. I'm happy for you. But Tidehunter, every time I lane against Tidehunter, and I've laned against him like 3 times in these past 14 games, I laned against one that was confident, and the other 2 weren't super confident. Confidence is huge with Tidehunter. You have to know that if you get your Kraken Shell, and you of course favor Kraken Shell and Anchor Smash, if you get that, You can make Spectre sit behind the tower. You can, and there's really nothing I can do about it. Even once I have Vanguard, I'm not dispersing too much because he's hitting that threshold where he's blocking damage. Even when I right click him and he's alone with Desolate, I'm not doing that much damage to him. I think that in my experience, if you're in the mid to low 2Ks and you don't know how to stop a Spectre, because I don't really know a clear counter, and I've played Spectre 14 times, I would say that the hardest times I've had is against the Tidehunter and pick the Tidehunter. Tidehunter also has a lot of his ultimate is kind of it's really good at stopping Spectre. Spectre haunts into a team fight. You hit Ravage. Guess what happens? Even if I haunt in on those, it's not going to work out too well for me. I can't really pick you off, so that means there's one less target on the map that I can't really haunt to and pick off. And in the early game, you deny me a ton of farm because I can't cut into the wave. Because every time I cut into the wave, you just anchor smash, and then I take a bunch of damage, and you just sit there pounding away with your anchor. So he's been the hardest to overcome. How I've overcome Tidehunter is ignoring him completely. I'm also more than happy to sit in lane and just get experience on Spectre. I realize that this is uh, against popular belief for a safe lane, but Spectre does really well with levels. If you can do, I don't know, I like to do a 044 build or a 440 build or a 114 or a 141. I don't know. I like to pretty much any combination of Spectre's skills are really good. And Haunt is really an awesome ability. For the longest time, I didn't understand why every time I'd use a counter picker and I type in Sniper, that the number one counter was Spectre. I was like, why? Like, I fucking wreck Spectres. Are you kidding me? I just shoot at it while it tries to run at me. No. Sniper is literally food. Never pick Sniper. Never pick Nature's Prophet. Never pick anybody that's alone or generally away from the team against the Spectre, because any Spectre who's worth anything, even in the mid to low 2Ks, will haunt in on you and will kill you before they will kill you, and then they just haunt to a different lane completely. That's how quickly they can kill you. So just be careful. If you get counter picked on your Sniper by a Spectre, um, I guess buy a Shadow Blade and hope the Spectre doesn't carry dust. That's another thing. Carry dust. Um, I can't tell you how many bounty hunters I go up against where you haunt, and you know it's him because you see that you've haunted something, but there's nothing there. You go in on it, you dust. That bounty hunter's dead, and oftentimes bounty hunters are worth a lot of gold. Anyway, this has been my diatribe on what's been working with me on Spectre. I've been keeping a healthy attitude as far as just one game at a time. I want to do 20 consecutive wins in a row as Spectre, and then we'll go from there. And then I'll probably set some ridiculous goal like 50 consecutive wins as Spectre. I think it can happen. Um, I I'm going to I'm gonna stop fucking around and get to 3K. That's my plan here. So at this point, I realize I want 3K MMR because I've been playing Dota for a really long time. I have a ton of games. I'm gonna stop fucking around and playing every hero that's in the roster of heroes, and I'm gonna start focusing on solid Spectre play. Also, watching Slasher, he when he coaches you, he likes to put you on one hero, and oftentimes when he puts you on one hero, he puts you on Spectre. There's a reason for this. Spectre has a high skill cap, in my opinion, where you can do a lot with Haunt. If you watch Batman play, he doesn't just haunt in on one target. He haunts on that target, hits it, haunts on another target, hits it, haunts on another target, hits it, haunts on another target, hits it. In that short amount of time while you have illusions up, he is haunting all over the map. Matter of fact, Spectre probably goes to more different places than even a Nature's Prophet, as far as distance covering if the team is spread out. So Spectre's working for me. I'm up 14 times 25, so 350 or so points. Um, and I'm gonna keep going with this. Even if I lose a couple in a row, I don't think I'll be demotivated. I know that I'm doing something right because I don't think you get 14 wins in a row based on luck. That I think that'd be an astronomical chance. And oftentimes I'm carrying the team. Great thing about Spectre 2 is all you got to do is delay. Just delay tactics, and Spectre will come online and will come online hard and win the game. So thank you for tuning into my vlog day, question mark, question mark, question mark. I don't know which day it is. I'm going to continue playing Spectre. Um, I hope you guys enjoyed those in-houses. God damn it, they're fun. We appreciate all your ideas and we embrace them. But for season one, we're going to keep it simple because trying to spread out and make things complicated made our quality go down, and I'm not willing to sacrifice quality on these because this is a special thing. It's a special thing to play in those in-houses and have it casted by, in my opinion, really talented casters, and have Denny doing shitty stats the whole time, and you have my jerky camera the entire time. I think it has some charm to it, and so we're going to keep it with 3 games twice a week. That can facilitate 60 unique people a week. So I mean, it's really not that bad. If season 2 we need to create 6 lobbies, we will, and we'll figure out how to do that. But we just don't want to implement changes willy-nilly. We want to keep things somewhat consistent. So anyway, this is Roland Sunday vlog day question mark question mark question mark. Thank you so much for tuning in and listening to me talk about Spectre and my climb. And I hope you all have a good day. And like Denny said, good luck and Godspeed.